Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. The screen fades from black. A flickering CCTV camera appears in the corner of a dark, narrow corridor. The faint hum of an overhead bulb creates an eerie atmosphere. You thought you knew the whole story, but what happened next will shatter everything you believed. Hidden in plain sight, in the darkness of a forgotten hallway, a final act of defiance was captured that no one ever expected. Cut to footage of Menglong, staggering into the frame, barefoot and bloodied, clutching a cloth-wrapped object. Menglong, one of the brightest stars of our time, wasn't just fighting for his life, he was fighting for his truth. And in the final moments before his death, he did something so shocking, it would make the world question everything. He moves as if time itself has thickened around him, each step separating from the next with the heavy grace of a man measuring out his final choices. Barefoot on the hard corridor floor, he does not hurry, does not falter. He simply advances, shoulders squared against the dim, shivering light, as though he has decided that the wall before him is not a barrier but a witness. The camera does not flatter him. It records the truth in unvarnished frames, the tremor that travels through his ribs when he breathes, the instinctive wince he refuses to indulge, the way his gaze keeps lifting not in panic but in calculation, as though he is checking his marks on a stage he knows better than anyone. There is a dignity in this slowness. He is not fleeing. He is composing. With the wall now within reach, his fingers test the surface, learning its temperature, its softness, its flaws. The movement is almost tender. A palm laying claim to something that has always been there but never truly seen. He leans closer, the world closing to the rhythm of breath and the low hum of the failing bulb. And you sense the shift from survival to intention. What follows is not outcry but authorship. He draws with the care of a craftsman, lines that refuse to wander, a curve that finds its end with a certainty that does not require words. The mark he leaves is neither decoration nor despair. It is a signature of presence, a declaration that the narrative imposed upon him will not be the last one spoken. When he steps back, he does not admire, he confirms. The image on the wall is a message to those who will come after, but it is also a mirror to himself, proof that even in a corridor designed to diminish him, there remains a space he can define. He shifts his weight, squares his stance, and for a heartbeat the scene acquires a strange serenity, as if the corridor has acknowledged him. In the slow drift of his shadow, in the sparing economy of each gesture, a truth emerges that no edit can erase. He is not merely being watched. He is choosing to be seen. And in that choice, even the wall becomes a page, and the silence becomes a vow that what matters will outlast the moment. He lifts his hand as though negotiating with pain, not to defeat it but to borrow just enough of it to speak. The wall receives him with the indifference of concrete. He answers with the only ink left to him. A smear at first, the color dark and stubborn, then the tip of his finger steadies and begins to travel, slow, deliberate, obeying a geometry older than fear. The circle emerges not as ornament but as boundary, the line that gathers him in, that refuses the dispersal of his name into rumor and noise. You can hear the breath he measures to keep the arc unbroken, the soft rasp of skin on paint, the distant hum of the light that will not quite commit to brightness. He completes the curve and for a moment, the corridor feels contained, as if the space itself has agreed to hold its breath with him. He pauses to read his own mark, not with the vanity of an artist but with the practicality of a witness verifying a statement. Blood dries quickly. Truth does not. He presses again, draws through the circle, a single decisive stroke that cuts across perfection, a refusal to let the symbol be mistaken for serenity. This is not a halo, it is a signpost, not a sanctuary, a summons. The gesture bears the calm of someone who has weighed consequence and chosen clarity over safety. Each centimeter of line says, "I was here, I understood, I resisted." As he works, the camera keeps its unblinking vigil. It captures the microfailures and recoveries of his body, The tremor he arrests at the wrist, the jaw set against another wave of pain, and in doing so it records the discipline beneath the act. He is not scrawling. He is setting evidence. The wall, once only surface, becomes archive. Even the stale smell of dust seems to sharpen into record. He steps back without drama, shoulders lowered, gaze level, and for the first time the corridor looks altered, not by force but by meaning. The circle holds, the diagonal holds, and the silence around them acquires intent. Whatever is to follow may be violent or swift, but it will no longer be shapeless. He has given the moment a frame and, with it, a future. If they erase him, the mark remains. If they deny him, the line contradicts them. In a world that tried to write him out, he has written himself in. He lifts his head and finds the lens, not as a hunted animal stumbling into a trap, but as a man who recognizes the only witness left that cannot be bribed or soothed. The camera stands there with its indifferent glass and silent appetite, and he meets it with the steadiness of someone who has turned fear over in his hands until it is no longer a weapon but a fact. His eyes are raw from effort, but they hold. There is no flourish, no appeal to pity, only a deliberate offering of presence. This is my face, this is my breath, this is the truth arranged without ornament. He does not blink to bargain for sympathy. He allows the lens to count the seconds, to measure the tremor at the corner of his mouth, to inventory the small betrayals of a body pushed past its assurances. In that unguarded stillness, something essential changes. He is no longer merely recorded. He is recording back, using his gaze as a statement that predates language. You can almost hear the sentence he refuses to mouth. Look at me correctly. The corridor fades to its outline. The bulb ticks. Time consolidates around the narrow distance between skin and glass. He inclines forward just enough to erase the gap where doubt could breed, and you see what the camera cannot name but will carry: the decision. Not the decision to survive at any cost, which he knows may be beyond him, but the decision to be legible. He lends the lens his dignity so that, when voices later try to reinterpret the noise of this night, there will be a fixed point that contradicts them. The eyes do not proclaim innocence or martyrdom. They pronounce accuracy. He breathes in slow, as if pulling the room into evidence, and when he breathes out, the air seems to leave with a purpose. The frame holds him like a line drawn around a truth that would prefer to be moved. It does not move. If there is a plea, it is for clarity. If there is defiance, it is quiet and exact. He lets the gaze settle until it becomes a promise. You will not misunderstand me because I am giving you nothing to misread. Then, with the faintest nod that might be fatigue or assent, he yields the moment back to the camera, sure that, whatever follows, this look will outlast it. In a final burst of energy, you slammed his body against the wall. Not just any wall. This was no ordinary surface. Behind it, a second camera hidden, recording every moment. You knew this was his last chance to make a statement. And make a statement he did. Cut to the moment of you marking his chest with the same circle and slash symbol. The circle, the slash, this time on his chest. His body, his soul, branded by the truth he was desperately trying to expose. You gasped for breath, staring into the cracked mirror. It wasn't just about survival. It was about something far bigger. His final words, spoken as his life drained away. I don't know if I'll survive tonight, but I need you to protect my mother. They know where she is. And she's in danger. The camera lingers on his desperate eyes. You wasn't just trying to save himself. In his final moments, he was protecting the one person who mattered most. A mother. Left to face the storm he knew was coming. Suddenly, the video distorts, followed by loud, chaotic noises. Footsteps, muffled voices, and a final scream. As the camera shakes and distorts, a cacophony of violence erupts. But it's not just noise. It's the sound of the truth being buried. And the last thing we hear from you is a faint whisper. Alive. A final coded message that would haunt investigators forever. Menglong's final act was more than just a desperate attempt to survive. It was a message to the world, a cry for justice. But even in death, his story isn't over. The truth remains buried, waiting to be unearthed. Will the truth ever come to light? Will those who betrayed him be held accountable? And will Menglong's final message lead us to the justice he so desperately sought? Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the shocking truth behind the death of Menglong. Subscribe to Update X24H for more shocking revelations. If you want to stay updated on this unfolding story and other breaking news, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us as we dive deeper into the mysteries and untold stories that the world needs to know. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below.